the 7th of November 2025. It's 10 o'clock. Now, I have long pointed out about the point of the wind farm industry that only me and me alone spotted, but others have come on board. We'll say a wind farm costs 100 million. Right? Cost. $100 million. It has a lifetime between planning permission and other constraints such as the bearings wearing out, leaking, and it becoming obsolete because they keep telling them that one they built last 5 years ago is too small. They need a bigger one. They keep getting bigger and bigger, and they're now complaining, the wind companies, that the wind wake from a wind farm up the road is stealing their electricity. And now they're saying that the wind has stopped blowing, right? It's not blowing the way it should. And that's another thing, whereas it's them that overestimated the wind. So that want to be paying back without interest 4 million a year to pay back for this in 25 years. Okay? Whereas if you have a shop or a restaurant, the building itself may be worth something. So they don't own the land, they hire the land of the farmer. So there's no residual, there's no value left after 25 years, and it costs money to pull them down. So they got to, at the minimal, raise 4 million a year from their activities. Okay? In this case, we're going to say the sales from the selling of electricity, whether it's wanted or not, and constrained payments, because of that 7 million, there might be $1.5 million money paid to turn them off, which is no good to you or me, but 7 million, we'll say, is the total money they take in. So expenses includes everything from insurance, repair and maintenance, keeping vehicles, and everything like that, which is we'll put it down here at 3 million, just a ballpark figure off the top of my head. The expenses are always big. You get them in all of their accounts. I have a dossier done on it. I've examined them. So we're picking a fairly realistic figure of 3 million. In the Rara wind farm, there are 5 turbines. And there's rarely a day there isn't some piece of equipment up there, especially on good days, doing repairs. Often 3 and 4 days there's a crew up there doing some kind of repairs. And then in the case of the Gartnan wind farm near Baleaborough, the gearbox of 2 of them was changed. I could see the big cranes up there, and they cost 350,000 a piece. So I'm putting down expenses at 3 million. So we'll say they raised their money by means of 65% of a loan and shares 35%, and in reality most of them are completely loans, because it's very hard to get people to invest millions. In the Rara wind farm, they were able to collect 250,000. They nearly got $1 million, 250,000 from Dublin doctors, but they nearly had 2 million or something of equity, of capital in there, which never is paid back. Greencoat Renewables is on 70 the last time I looked at it. But anyway, we'll say 65 million, just to give them every chance. It's 65 million they get a loan. So now I've went a very small amount of payback of the financial cost of the interest. The interest on a loan of 65 million per year would be 1.6 billion at 4%, if you get it at that. So I'm giving them every chance. Now you see straight away that if you take the expenses at 3 million, which is small, and add the costs, financial cost of 1.65, 3 and 1/4, that's 4.65, and therefore they can never pay back that capital cost, because they have to pay the interest on it, and they have to pay the expenses. And in this scenario, they pay no share dividend at all, if they pay any dividend. So will we give them a small little dividend, a small wee dividend every year, just to have something? So I've given a small dividend of $500,000. They invested 35 million, so we're giving them 1.5%, and that amounts to 0.525 million. So that's not too bad. We're being very stingy there, but they need something to keep them going. Now, so we'll see then. So I've added the 1.65, the shares I put here at zero, there's no interest on that. And then I said, look, we'll give them a dividend of 1.5 million distributed, which with a percent, which is 0.525. Add up all that and take it from the total turnover, and you get 1.825 left. 1.825 left. Now, as you can see already, you cannot pay the 4 million capital cost. You have your interest paid. You can't pay your 4 million capital cost with 1.825. There's not enough. Now, we'll say they pay tax on that. Remember, you do not get tax relief on the capital cost. If you buy a farm for 100 million, you run it, you can get tax relief on the interest, but not on the capital. And it's the same on your mortgage. You get mortgage interest relief, but you do not get interest relief on the capital sum. Now, the thing about it is, that works out there at one point, I've made it at 15%. 15%. I think that's what it is. It used to be 12.5. Anyway, we'll give it that. So that then amounts to 20.27. Wait now, let me get this right. It's 273,500 is the tax on the 1.8 profit. Okay? So we'll take the tax from the profit. 3 from 5 leaves 2. 7 from 12 leaves 5. 3 from 5 leaves 2. Wrong. Oh, right. 3 from 5 leaves 2. 7 from 12 leaves 5. Carry the 1. 1 is nothing. And 1. So you have left 1,052,052 euros. You have 1,052 euros. So you have just left a little more than a million. A little more. You have 52,000. 1,052,000. So you see that now. You have 1,052,000. So sorry about the notes. Now I think that's right. So you have 1 million left to pay off your 4 million capital cost. And even if you exclude the tax, you see, you're not making a loss. You're making a paper profit, but you're not able to pay off your capital cost. But if you take the bit of tax off it, it still doesn't come up to the amount you need. You need 4 million to pay it off. So take 3 of that, you have 1 million. Take your expenses. You're now beyond the point where you can pay off your capital cost. If you give a bit of a share, that's right. If you give no share at all, you're still 0.65 million above what will pay off the capital costs. And then if that little profit amounts to a profit, it's a bit more. So it's even with no dividend ever paid, which they're not paying. The Green Court Renewable share is 70 cents on the 100. So if you had no dividend at all ever, they never get their money back at all, and they only get their money back from the dividend. The dividend includes capital and everything. So if you have that there and no dividend, you still have 0.65. You have 650,000 over and above what it paid this. You're only able to pay 4 million less. 4 million. You're not. You're able to pay 4 million less 65.65, like 650,000. So you haven't enough, even when you pay the expenses and the financial costs, which must be paid. There's no way around them. And this is why wind companies were always trying to get people to buy shares, because when they bought the shares, they didn't have to give you anything back. That's the law. You buy shares, the company has to give you nothing. It's a question for the board, and that's what they do. They'll only give you shares if they want to entice somebody else into the Ponzi scheme. But even with that, even taking the bit of tax which has to be paid only on the profit, they can't pay back the capital costs. Now, I have examined wind farm after wind farm, and I see that that's one of the better cases. That's one of the better cases there. Here's a report in the Irish Examiner. 4 people awarded 300,000 euros for the noise damage, the noise that they suffered. 4 people. awarded 300,000 in total damages arising from wind farm nuisance. And I'll be in that boat. Hopefully the day will come, God spares me, to sue for my loss here. And I'll be suing the landowners in addition to the wind farm company, because they are the ones who let this up. It's they who are responsible in law, and the wind farm company can walk away. So 4 people took a high court action against a wind farm operator, have been awarded combined sum of 300,000 damages arising from nuisance. Mr. Justice Emily Egan held that the noise levels of the 2 turbines of Ballyduff Wind Farm at Kilcombe near Enniscorthy amounted to unreasonable interference. That particular judge, I'll read her name again, Miss Justice Emily Egan, went down and listened to it herself. Now you take that 300,000 out of this, and that's probably a smaller wind farm. I think that's only maybe 25 turbines, not sure. But look, so they are expected to pay back, and they have a 300 million lump sum coming out, and they have to close off some wind farms. Okay? Report from the very good website Stop These Things. It's biased like me against wind farms, and it gives the picture there of the house of cards beginning to fall. And it says the world's greatest Ponzi scheme is imploding. The wind and solar scam was never going to last. Built on lies and running on subsidies, the so-called wind and solar industry are being belted from all sides. Rising costs, shrinking subsidies, hostile communities have taken the gloss off the greatest economic environment fraud of all time. Simon Walker reports Europe's largest onshore wind farm is facing bankruptcy and has filed for reconstruction with Swedish courts. Mata Bejan ETT, the first phase of the Mark Glendon 1101 project, is facing difficulties after signing a baseload PPA with Norwegian Energy. Now, so that's it. That company, it says here now that it's an onshore wind farm, but it's facing bankruptcy. So the important thing to remember there is the name of the company. So its name again is MARKBEGDEN, Mark Biden ETT. You know the way they have different ways of explaining a company. It's limited and it's incorporated in America. So that's the name of that one, filing for bankruptcy, going wallop. Europe's largest wind farm. From the website Wind Power, Dutch onshore wind turbine manufacturer EWT declared bankrupt. Dutch onshore wind turbine maker Energia Wind Technologies, EWT, has declared bankrupt in the last week. With offices in Amersfoort, it is known for its medium-sized onshore wind turbines. The company originated in 2004 at the launch of Lagawi. Initially, the focus was on 750 kilowatt and 900 kilowatt direct drive wind turbines. I had one of them when I was a child. I reconstructed my father's one here, and we had a tree house running on it, and it didn't work too well. Now, anyway, so that's it. Later, 500 kilowatt and 250 kilowatt turbines were added. Anyway, they added a whole lot of stuff and blades and all, and over the years, the company opened offices in several countries, including America, USA, Germany, Italy, and India. The company states it has delivered more than 600 wind turbines in different countries. But, of course, the point is, that's all right, it delivered them, but what did they deliver? And the answer is nothing. So in 2008, it came into the hands of a consortium led by Oil Marvel Van Pook. Despite this, however, it has been struggling and financial setbacks over the year. It's gone wallop, right? Now that Swedish wind farm, Mac Biden, that I mentioned earlier, it's 179 turbines. It's 179 turbines, and is the largest wind farm, apparently in Europe. I think that's what it is. 179, that's a big